In this tribute video, we honor the American legends who have passed away today and in recent days. Welcome back to Movie Newscast. These remarkable individuals made lasting contributions to their fields, and we sadly say goodbye to them. Our heartfelt condolences go out to their families and fans. As we remember their legacies, we invite you to show your support by giving this video a thumbs up if their lives or work have touched you in any way. Your gesture is a sign of respect and remembrance. Julian Ortega, the 41-year-old actor who starred in hit Netflix series Elite, has tragically died after a medical incident on a beach in Spain on Sunday evening. Tragedy struck as Julian Ortega, 41, known for his role in the hit Netflix series Elite, tragically passed away on a beach in Spain. Ortega suffered a heart attack while on Zahora Beach in Barbate, southwest of Marbella. Alarmed beachgoers immediately called for medical attention upon noticing the actor in distress. Despite paramedics' valiant efforts, including 30 minutes of attempted resuscitation and the use of a defibrillator, Ortega's life could not be saved, and the devastating turn of events took place under the gaze of a local beach bar. Julian Ortega, a Madrid native, boasted an impressive career with appearances in Courant, Elite, Nunt et in Hora, and a slew of popular Spanish TV shows like Cristo Rey and Velvet. The National Union of Actors and Actresses in Spain mourned the loss with a solemn statement affirming, "From the Union de Actors y Actresses, we send our most sincere condolences to the actor's family and friends," reports The Mirror. Tributes poured in from both co-stars and fans alike upon the death of the cherished actor. Fernando Tejero, the Goya award-winning star, expressed his devastation. "Life can be so cruel sometimes. I'm heartbroken, dear friend. You were such a great actor and an even better person, Julian Ortega." Fly high, with Virginia Mateagues echoing this sentiment, commenting on X, "A big hug to Gloria Munoz. I'm so sorry." Actress Sylvia Marceau also voiced her grief. "He was an incredible actor and a colleague who was as genuine, honest, and kind as his parents. I can't even begin to imagine how his parents and everyone who knew him in the industry must be feeling. It's just awful. I can't wrap my head around it. I'm filled with absolute sadness." Uruguayan soccer player Juan Izquierdo dies at 27 after collapsing during game. Deepest pain and shock. Izquierdo died at a local hospital 5 days after he collapsed during a Copa Libertadores game in Sao Paulo on Thursday, August 22. Uruguayan soccer player Juan Izquierdo has died days after collapsing on the field during a game. He was 27. Izquierdo died at a local Brazilian hospital on Tuesday, August 27, 5 days after he collapsed during a Copa Libertadores game in Sao Paulo, according to the Associated Press. In a statement following Izquierdo's death, Hospital Albert Einstein said he died at 9:38 p.m. local time following cardiorespiratory arrest associated with his cardiac arrhythmia, per the AP. On Monday, August 26, doctors at the hospital said in a statement that Izquierdo, who was on a ventilator prior to his death, was put into neurological critical care because of increased intracranial pressure, the AP said. In a post on X, formerly known as Twitter, the Uruguayan soccer club posted a message of remembrance for Izquierdo. "With the deepest pain and shock in our hearts, Club Nacional de Football announces the passing of our beloved player Juan Izquierdo. We express our most sincere condolences to his family, friends, colleagues, and loved ones. All of Nacional is mourning his irreparable loss. RIP, Juan, you will be with us forever," the post read. Per the AP, the Sao Paulo Soccer Club also shared a statement regarding Izquierdo's untimely death, writing, "We had days of prayers, union, and hope, and today we are in deep sadness with the news of the death of Juan Izquierdo. Our condolences to family, friends, teammates, Nacional fans, and all the Uruguayan people in this moment of grief." Izquierdo's professional soccer career began in 2018, and in 2023 he led the Uruguayan league to a title win, the first for the club in over a century. Hollywood Squares host and Broadway star Peter Marshall dies at 98. Los Angeles AP, Peter Marshall, the actor and singer turned game show host who played straight man to the stars for 16 years on The Hollywood Squares, has died. He was 98. He died Thursday of kidney failure at his home in the Encino neighborhood of Los Angeles, publicist Harlan Bull said. Marshall helped define the form of the smooth, professional, but never too serious modern game show host on more than 5,000 episodes of the series that ran on NBC from 1966 to 1981. But he was often closer to a talk show host, and the tic-tac-toe game the contestants played, while real, was all an excuse for a good time. The questions Marshall posed to regulars like Paul Lynde, George Gobel, and Joan Rivers were designed to be setups for joke answers before the real ones followed. "It was the easiest thing I've ever done in show business," Marshall said in a 2010 interview for the Archive of American Television. "I walked in, said, 'Hello, stars.' I read questions and laughed, and it paid very well." The Hollywood Squares would become an American cultural institution and make Marshall a household name. It would win 4 Daytime Emmys for Outstanding Game Show during his run, and spawned dozens of international versions and several U.S. reboots. Not only was it a forum for such character actors as Charlie Weaver, the stage name of Cliff Arquette, and Wally Cox, but the show attracted a range of top stars as occasional guests, including Aretha Franklin, Mel Brooks, Carl Reiner, Ed Asner, and Janet Leigh. He starred opposite Chita Rivera in Bye Bye Birdie in London's West End in 1962. Lynde had played a major role in the Broadway version that he would reprise in the film, and played his first starring role on Broadway in Skyscraper with Julie Harris in 1965. He would also appear in Broadway versions of High Button Shoes, The Music Man, and 42nd Street. After The Hollywood Squares, Marshall would host a few other short-lived game shows, but mostly resumed his career as a singing actor, starring in more than 800 performances of La Cage aux Folles on Broadway and on tour, and singing in the 1983 film version of Annie. He was married 3 times, the last to Laurie Stewart in 1989. The couple survived a bout with coronavirus-19 early in 2021. He was hospitalized for several weeks. His 4 kids include son Pete Laycock, a professional baseball player for the Chicago Cubs and Kansas City Royals. Marshall is also survived by daughters Suzanne and Jane, son David, 12 grandchildren, and 9 great-great-grandchildren. Alain Delon, French star of Les Samouraïs, dies at 88. Alain Delon, the French actor most famous for his roles in the films of new wave director Jean-Pierre Melville, especially Les Samouraïs, has died. He was 88. He passed away peacefully in his home in Douchy, surrounded by his 3 children and his family, according to a statement released to the AFP news agency by his family. In addition to Les Samouraïs, Delon also appeared in Melville's brilliant heist film, Le Cercle Rouge, and Un Flic. Some of his other significant films were Reine Clement's Purple Noon, Visconti's Rocco and His Brothers and The Leopard, Antonioni's Leakless, Joseph Giovanni's 2 Men in Town, and Joseph Losey's Mr. Klein. Although he triggered some controversies during the later part of his life due to his public comments on adoption of children by same-sex parents and affinity with far-right politicians, many prominent figures in France and abroad paid tribute to his legacy and impact on popular culture. In a message posted on X, French President Emmanuel Macron said Delon made the world dream, lending his unforgettable face to turn our lives upside down. Macron described Delon as melancholic, popular, secretive, and said he was more than a star, a French monument. He starred as the title character in the French TV crime drama Franck Riva in 2003-4, and as Julius Caesar in the 2008 film Asterix at the Olympic Games. At the peak of his career, in 1969, the actor was associated with a scandal that had both criminal and political dimensions. Stevan Markovic, the former bodyguard for Delon and his wife Nathalie, who appeared with him in Le Samaré, was murdered, his corpse found in the forest, and investigators found a letter written by Markovic that tied the Delons to a Corsican fighter named François Marcantoni, who was subsequently tied to former French President Georges Pompidou. The Delons were questioned by police over the homicide, and it was unclear how far the scandal would spread. Only Marcantoni was convicted. Delon's love life was of keen interest to the French media. He had a relationship with German actress Romy Schneider from 1959 to 64, but he retained an emotional connection to her long thereafter. She ultimately died from a mixture of painkillers and alcohol in 1982. At the Kaisers in 2008, Delon took to the stage to receive on her behalf an award marking what would have been her 70th birthday, and asked the audience to honor her with a standing ovation. Yet during his relationship with Schneider, he had an affair with Nico of the Velvet Underground, fathering a son, Arie Boulon. He married Nathalie Barthélemy in 1964 and had a son, Anthony. The couple divorced in 1969. Delon subsequently had a 15-year relationship with French actress Mireille Darc, and then one with Dutch model Rosalie van Bremen, with whom he had 2 children, but split in 2002. He was accorded an honorary Palme d'Or in 2019. His family placed him under conservatorship in 2024 after he had suffered a stroke in 2019. Jack Russell, lead singer of band Great White, who was on stage during horrific 03 concert fire, dies. Jack Russell, the lead singer of the bluesy 80s metal band Great White, whose hits included Once Bitten, Twice Shy and Rock Me, and was fronting his band the night 100 people died in a 2003 nightclub fire in Rhode Island, has died. He was 63. Jack is loved and remembered for his sense of humor, exceptional zest for life, and unshakable contribution to rock and roll, where his legacy will forever thrive, said a statement posted Thursday to his Instagram page. The death was confirmed by Kate L. Doty, author of Russell's autobiography, The True Tale of Mista Bone, a rock plus roll narrative. Russell recently stopped touring after announcing he had been diagnosed with Lewy body dementia and multiple system atrophy, which causes loss of coordination and balance and changes in speech. Fellow metal stars mourned Russell, with ex-Cinderella member Fred Coury writing on X. The world lost one of the nicest guys in the business, and one of the great voices to sail across the airways of the 80s. Poison singer Bret Michaels posted, "To my friend Jack Russell, such an amazing voice. May you rest in peace." A different iteration of Great White that Russell led, performing under the name Jack Russell's Great White, was involved in one of the most tragic concerts in U.S. history in 2003. During a show at the Station nightclub in Rhode Island, the band's pyrotechnics sparked a fast-moving blaze that caused a bottleneck as fans tried to flee. The fire killed 100 people, including the band's guitarist, Ty Longley, and injured more than 200 others. Great White held benefit concerts after the fire to raise money for the Station Family Fund, a charity that helped people who were severely burned, children who had lost parents, and others. The band agreed to pay $1 million to more than 300 people as part of a settlement. Russell was a California native who joined Great White in 1981 and found success with its blend of blues and hard rock, before he left to record a solo album. The band split up in 2001, and Russell reformulated a version under his own name. Great White's biggest hit was the Ian Hunter penned song, Once Bitten, Twice Shy, from its 1989 album, Twice Shy, peaking at No. 5 on the Billboard Hot 100, aided by a popular MTV video. A Russell original, The Angel Song reached no. 30 on the chart, and Twice Shy wound up selling about 2 million copies. The band would earn a Grammy nomination in the Best Hard Rock Performance category. The band reunited in 2007 with original members to mark their 25th anniversary, issued a new studio album, and spent the last 2 months touring Europe. Connie Cheung, Black Panther actress, dead at 72. Celebrated South African actress and filmmaker Connie Cheung died on August 6 in Johannesburg. Connie Cheung, perhaps best known to American audiences for her roles in Black Panther and Black Panther. Wakanda Forever, has died. She was 72. Her son, Nongolo, confirmed the news to the South African news channel Newsroom Africa on Wednesday, revealing that Cheung died on Tuesday at a hospital in Johannesburg. She was admitted for a medical procedure, and she was recovering well, Cheung's son shared. But unfortunately, we then got the news of her passing. Nongolo said of his mother, "We are proud to be her children. She left us a beautiful legacy, not only just for her children or her family, but for the community and the country at large." The actress was born in Welkom, South Africa, in 1952 and began her acting career in the 1980s, after returning to South Africa from spending several years in Greece. Her career spanned South Africa's 2 remarkably different eras, as she began acting while the country was still under apartheid, and then was part of the filmmaking boom that came after apartheid was ended in the early 90s. Cheung's biggest Hollywood role came in 2018 with her part as tribal elder Zolawari in Marvel's Black Panther. She reprised the role in 2022 in Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. She is additionally known for her many performances in South African entertainment projects. Notable, memorable TV credits include Zone 14, Rhythm City, Queen Sono, and Gomorrah. Additionally, she starred in a number of major movie roles in films like I Dreamed of Africa, Fani Fori's Lobola, and Seriously Single. She also appeared as herself in Beyoncé's 2020 musical film Black is King. In 2022, Cheung was honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award by the South African Film and Television Awards. The beloved actress is survived by her 3 children and 5 grandchildren. Gena Rowlands, acting powerhouse and star of movies by her director husband, John Cassavetes, dies. Gena Rowlands, hailed as one of the greatest actors to ever practice the craft and a guiding light in independent cinema, as a star in groundbreaking movies by her director husband, John Cassavetes, and who later charmed audiences in her son's tearjerker, The Notebook, has died. She was 94. Rowlands' death was confirmed Wednesday by representatives for her son, filmmaker Nick Cassavetes. He revealed earlier this year that his mother had Alzheimer's disease. TMZ reported that Rowlands died Wednesday at her home in Indian Wells, California. Operating outside the studio system, the husband and wife team of John Cassavetes and Rowlands created indelible portraits of working-class strivers and small-timers in such films as A Woman Under the Influence, Gloria, and Faces. Rowlands made 10 films across 4 decades with Cassavetes, including Minnie and Moskowitz in 1971, Opening Night in 1977, and Love Streams in 1984. She earned 2 Oscar nods for 2 of them. 1974's A Woman Under the Influence, in which she played a wife and mother cracking under the burden of domestic harmony, and Gloria in 1980, about a woman who helps a young boy escape the mob. He had a particular sympathetic interest in women and their problems in society, how they were treated, and how they solved and overcame what they needed to. So all his movies have some interesting women, and you don't need many, she told the AP in 2015. In addition to the Oscar nominations, Rowlands earned 3 Primetime Emmy Awards, 1 Daytime Emmy, and 2 Golden Globes. She was awarded an honorary Academy Award in 2015 in recognition of her work and legacy in Hollywood. "You know what's wonderful about being an actress? You don't just live one life," she said at the podium. "You live many lives." A new generation was introduced to Rowlands in her son's blockbuster, The Notebook, in which she played a woman whose memory is ravaged, looking back on a romance for the ages. Her younger self was portrayed by Rachel McAdams. She also appeared in Nick Cassavetes' Unhook the Stars in 1996. In her later years, Rowlands made several appearances in films and TV, including in The Skeleton Key and the detective series Monk. Her last appearance in a movie was in 2014, playing a retiree who befriends her gay dance instructor in 6 Dance Lessons in 6 Weeks. Her other movies included Lonely Are the Brave with Kirk Douglas, The Spiral Road, Rock Hudson, A Child is Waiting, with Burt Lancaster and Judy Garland, directed by Cassavetes, 2-Minute Warning, Charlton Heston, Tempest, co-starring with Cassavetes and Molly Ringwald in her screen debut, and the mother who wants to do right by her children in Paul Schrader's 1987 study of a blue-collar family, Light of Day. In middle age and beyond, Rowlands continued playing demanding roles. In Woody Allen's austere drama Another Woman, she was cast as a writer whose life has been shielded from emotion until dire incidents force her to deal with her feelings. In the groundbreaking TV movie An Early Frost, she appeared as a mother confronting her son's AIDS. Rowlands commented in 1992 that her roles remained in her memory. "Sometimes, those white nights when I have no sleep and a lot of time to think about everything, I'll examine different possibilities of different characters and what they might be doing now," she said. Billy Beane, former MLB outfielder and LGBTQ advocate, dead at 60. Billy Beane, the second MLB player to come out publicly as gay, has died after a year-long battle with acute myeloid leukemia. Billy Beane, a special advisor to Commissioner Rob Manfred and MLB's Senior Vice President for Diversity, Equality, and Inclusion, has died after a year-long fight with acute myeloid leukemia, the league announced Tuesday. He was 60. In an interview with the Miami Herald in 1999, Beane became the second player ever to come out as gay. "Our hearts are broken today as we mourn our dear friend and colleague, Billy Beane, one of the kindest and most respected individuals I have ever known," Manfred said in a statement. "Billy was a friend to countless people across our game, and he made a difference through his constant dedication to others. He made baseball a better institution, both on and off the field, by the power of his example, his empathy, his communication skills, his deep relationships inside and outside our sport, and his commitment to doing the right thing. We are forever grateful for the enduring impact that Billy made on the game he loved, and we will never forget him." On behalf of Major League Baseball, I extend my deepest condolences to Billy's husband, Greg Baker, and their entire family. Beane was a 24th-round draft pick by the Yankees out of Loyola Marymount in 1985. He returned to school, improving his draft stock, and was selected in the 4th round by the Tigers in 1986. He appeared in parts of 6 MLB seasons for the Tigers, Padres, and Dodgers as an outfielder/first baseman. After retiring in 1995, Beane left baseball, but returned in 2014 when MLB appointed him as its first ambassador for inclusion. In his role, Beane worked with Major League Baseball teams to, according to the league, advance equality for all players, coaches, managers, umpires, employees, and stakeholders throughout baseball to ensure an equitable, inclusive, and supportive workplace for everyone. This past December, Beane revealed that he had been diagnosed with cancer in September. "I know that it's very hard for you right now, Billy, and it's our turn to take care of you," Diamondbacks manager Torey Lovullo said at the time. "You have been the ultimate giver since the day that I've known you. So even though I know it's going to be very tough for you, it's time for you to sit down and let us love you up and take care of you." Beane's memoir, Going the Other Way, Lessons from a Life in and Out of Major League Baseball was released in 2003 and covered everything from being named his high school's valedictorian to his partner dying of AIDS and being skipping the funeral to avoid questions. A West Virginia boy died after a collision during football practice. It's the third student football player death this month. Cohen Craddock was the baby of his family, a gregarious 13-year-old who cared more about others than he did himself, his father Ryan Craddock said. He was very compassionate, very big-hearted, and all the time wanted to try to make you laugh, make you feel better, and bring people's spirits up, Craddock told CNN. But Cohen's West Virginia family is now left agonizing without him. The teen died Saturday after a collision during football practice Friday, marking at least the third student football player to die within the first few weeks of this school year. Their deaths highlight the risks of the America's most popular sport as the country enters Labor Day weekend and football season. Cohen's fatal injury happened the same day a 16-year-old football player from Alabama was fatally injured during his school's season opener. The death of Aaliyah, 23 years later. What caused the tragic plane crash? Aaliyah died at the age of 22 in August 2001. Aaliyah changed the sound of R&B music and was one of the most beloved singers of the 90s. Born Aaliyah Dana Houghton, the mononymous singer began her career at 11 years old when she performed with her aunt Gladys Knight for 5 nights in Las Vegas. Aaliyah was only 14 when she released her first album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, in 1994, which received American Music Awards, Billboard Music Awards, and Soul Train Awards nominations for Best New Artist and skyrocketed her into popularity. Aaliyah's second album, One in a Million, went double platinum after its release in 1996, and her third, and final, album Aaliyah, dropped in 2001 and peaked at No. 2 on Billboard's Top 10 list. Sadly, 2 months after the debut of her self-titled album, Aaliyah's life was tragically cut short when she died in a plane crash in the Bahamas after filming her music video Rock the Boat on August 25, 2001. Following Aaliyah's death, her musical and personal legacy lived on. She received 3 posthumous Grammy Awards nominations for Aaliyah and earned nods for her acting in the vampire movie Queen of the Damned. In honor of the late singer's birthday in January 2024, a tribute was posted on Instagram to celebrate what would have been her 45th birthday. "You were more than just a daughter, sister, friend, and role model, Aaliyah," it read. "You were a revolution of sound, a beacon of style, and an inspiration to millions. You showed us how to own our power, embrace individuality, and move through the world with fierce grace. We miss you every day, but your light still stays with us." To mark 23 years since the singer's death, here's a look at what happened the day Aaliyah died and the legacy she left behind. Aaliyah died in a plane crash in the Bahamas when a small twin-engine Cessna 402B crashed shortly after takeoff. The chartered plane was carrying Aaliyah and 8 others, including the singer's hairdresser, bodyguard, a record executive, and the plane's pilot, per the New York Times. The plane's wings shattered on impact, and the engine and landing gear were torn off, the outlet reported. Aaliyah and 5 of the other passengers died instantly. 3 others died of their injuries the next day. Aaliyah's official cause of death included severe burns and a blow to the head. The pathologist who performed autopsies on the victims testified in court during a coroner's inquest into the crash in 2003, according to CBS News. The pathologist also testified that an autopsy of the pilot, Luis Antonio Morales, revealed he had cocaine in his urine and traces of alcohol in his stomach. The pilot was also not certified to fly the Cessna 402B and had been hired by the charter company a few days before the crash, per the New York Times. Morales had also been sentenced to probation for cocaine possession 2 weeks prior. In addition, the newspaper reported that the days leading up to the flight were filled with confusion and mistakes. including overweight cargo for Aaliyah's music video being delivered to the wrong Bahamian island, and multiple changes of which charter company would bring Aaliyah and her crew back to the United States. After investigations into the causes of the crash, officials believed that the small twin-engine plane was 700 pounds overloaded when it took off from the airport on the Bahamian island of Abaco. In the days after Aaliyah's death, fans held memorials for the singer across the country, and fellow musicians honored her with heartfelt statements. 2 days after her death on August 27, 2021, hundreds of people gathered near Aaliyah's former high school in Detroit to remember the singer with a candlelight vigil. They admired her work and her position as a role model to young girls, according to Billboard. Rapper DMX, who starred alongside Aaliyah in the movie Romeo Must Die, released a statement after her death. Talented, classy, warm, beautiful, compassionate, and humble best describes my memories of Aaliyah, a down-to-earth sister with enough energy to put anyone on a cloud, it read, according to Billboard. Music producer Timbaland, who collaborated with Aaliyah on songs like Are You That Somebody, spoke about the singer on MTV's Total Request Live. Me and her together had this chemistry. I kinda lost half of my creativity to her, he said. Beyond the music, she was a brilliant person, the most special person I ever met. A year after Aaliyah's death, LeBron James revealed that the singer influenced his career. The NBA star James told Sports Illustrated that Aaliyah's unexpected death inspired him to keep playing through a career-threatening injury in college. "You're not promised tomorrow," he explained. "I had to be out on the field with my team." Rep. Bill Pascrell Jr., longtime New Jersey congressman, dies at 87. Paterson, NJ. Bill Pascrell Jr., the longtime New Jersey Democratic congressman, has died. He was 87. Pascrell's family announced his death Wednesday on social media. As our United States representative, Bill fought to his last breath to return to the job he cherished and to the people he loved. Bill lived his entire life in Paterson and had an unwavering love for the city he grew up in and served. He is now at peace after a lifetime devoted to our great nation America, they wrote. Pascrell, who represented New Jersey's 9th congressional district, was expected to easily win re-election in November. He would have been the oldest-serving member of the U.S. House of Representatives had he won. In a statement released by the White House, President Joe Biden said in part, "Jill and I, and the entire Biden family, are deeply saddened to learn of the passing of Bill Pascrell, Jr., a 27-year congressman for New Jersey at the U.S. House of Representatives. Bill was a colleague and dear friend. I had the privilege of working with him for decades on issues ranging from the Fire Grants and Safety Act for the well-being of first responders and their families, to veterans' medical care, international trade, tax fairness, labor unions, and so much more. Over the course of our 30-year friendship, Bill defined himself as a devoted patriot, a gentleman, and an exemplary leader. A beloved bridge builder and champion for working-class people, Bill fought relentlessly to ensure their voices and needs were at the center of policymaking. I always knew Bill's positions were guided by his deep conscience and convictions. For the congressman, there was no project too small or idea too big. Those who knew Representative Pascrell well knew that he was perhaps most proud of the fact that he lived his entire life in his beloved Paterson, NJ. During his lifetime of service to this community, he successfully fought to recognize his childhood park and the crown jewel of Paterson as the Great Falls National Historical Park. He'd also helped restore one of the only remaining Negro League stadiums left in America, Vice President Kamala Harris said. Doug and I send our prayers to his wife, Elsie, their 3 children, and their 6 grandchildren. We will be thinking of the congressman's friends, constituents, and all those who knew him in the days and weeks ahead. His legacy will live on for generations. Pascrell's cause of death was not immediately released, though it comes after a month-long illness that had him in and out of the hospital. Funeral arrangements have not yet been announced. Democratic committees in Pascrell's district will hold a convention to name a successor and pick a new candidate for the November ballot. Democrats attending the Democratic National Convention Wednesday night paid tribute to Pascrell. Senator Cory Booker took to the stage and led the audience in a round of applause to honor the late congressman. "We are sad for his loss, but we celebrate his life," Booker said. "Now he's a Jersey legend. He is a powerful pugilist, a Prince of Paterson. He never forgot where he came from in Paterson, and he never stopped fighting." In a statement, Gov. Phil Murphy hailed Pascrell as a giant of New Jersey and a lifelong champion for our most vulnerable neighbors. He was a unifier in every sense of the word, and always sought to bring the people of New Jersey together around our shared principles, Murphy said. But for many New Jerseyans, Bill will be remembered most fondly for leading the fight for our families in Congress over the past 27 years. At every stage of his congressional career, he stood up for our neighbors by defending access to reproductive health care, keeping our communities safe from gun violence, supporting our law enforcement officers and first responders, protecting our natural wonders, like Paterson's Great Falls, and so much more. Bill Pascrell embodied the spirit of New Jersey. He was relentless fighting for his community. As a first son of Paterson, he never forgot where he came from, leaving an indelible mark on North Jersey as a mayor, a public school teacher, an assemblyman, and a congressman who never, ever backed down from doing what was right. Bill was a fierce champion for the working class, always standing up for the little guy, fighting to ensure that New Jersey families got a fair shake, whether on the factory floor, in the classroom, or at the doctor's office. Beyond his dedication, Bill was one of the funniest, most entertaining people you could ever meet. "He was my friend, and I was his," Rep. Frank Pallone said. Drop your tribute comment towards them in the comment section. Thank you.